Your 2025 YourBigPlans.com 500 Sprint Car Tour champion Dakoda Armstrong joins us here on the couch here at Media Day. Welcome,
yeah, nice to be here. Yeah. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we got a little fog outside, but
I
the
know.
snow's gone.
Yeah. Finally, I'll tell you what, it's been cold this.
It's
this
been
winter.
cold.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for a West Coast guy to deal with the winter we had, it's been a pain. But we're through it now, and Media Day's here. 2026 schedule for 500 Sprint Car Tour. You're coming back as the defending champion.
Yeah.
First, let's take a look at that schedule. Pretty good. We get to go to Jennerstown, a new track in PA. What did you think when you saw it?
Yeah, everyone's been asking what we're looking for. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Most people just don't have a lot of experience there in this series to begin with, but we ran the Silver Crown car there, and I ran second to Swanson, but I really thought we had a shot to win that thing, so we were really good. So going back there, I'm looking forward to the sprint car. So we'll see. I know Rory will be good because he's good at all these these flat, intermediate tracks like that. But I think we have a okay shot there.
Yeah, it's a cool schedule, and you look at this series from 2022 till now, starting its fifth season. Man, it seems like every year they really step their game up. The competition level has been off the charts.
Yeah, we've added Winchester, Salem here lately, going to these bigger historic tracks. That's been cool. It's also that's been a little bit of a challenge for us. When we first started this deal, like our car, we built it for Anderson only because that was kind of the only thing in town. So that's why I was running Randy Neal's car there. We just needed something a little different that was built for some of these bigger tracks. So we're kind of expanding out, trying to get a in the middle for all of them to be good, but everything's so tight now. Everyone's so good. People have been running this series for so long, just non-wings in general, that you got to bring everything you can to go try to compete.
So let's go through 2025, the championship season, trials and tribulations of it, if you will. Obviously, you picked up 2 wins along the way. You mentioned Salem. You were able to win that historic event. Joe James Pet O'Connor Memorial before that won the Glen Nibel, which is coming up here in April back at Anderson Speedway. Going into 2025, were you pretty much going for a title this year?
Yeah, I think so. The main goal is always to just go win, right? And if you go win enough, you're going to win the championship by the end of it anyway. And we know our stuff's good enough that we can go run top 5 almost by default. But we really were trying to expand, some of our notes and setups to be better at places we've just been off at. Like Tyler's really had our number at Indianapolis here, and then at Berlin, some of those Michigan tracks.
All of the Michigan tracks?
Yeah, all of them. It's not just us; he's everybody. But it's we tried some stuff, and it didn't work. I'll be honest. We were worse this year than we were in the past, and I expect some of that to stay. We're just going to keep trying things. We don't want to. We have a notebook of where we ran second to them a couple times, and we just have not put those setups back on because we just don't want to run second again. So that was kind of the plan going into 2025, and it didn't quite work out. So I think we're gonna do it again. We're gonna try some new stuff. We think that's gonna work. We've changed the car around a little bit. We feel really good about Salem, Winchester. Winchester, we were off. We still ran top 3, but the car was really, really good going into that week. And something just kind of we think we had a bad right rear before that race, and so we just brought kind of the same thing back to Salem. We were able to win. So we know our cars are good there. We've been really good at Anderson. These bank tracks, we kind of have our setup down, but a lot of these flatter tracks, we're off a little bit. And it kind of was like that the whole season, but we were just able to just keep plugging away. We didn't have any DNFs, and that's kind of what got us there.
Yeah, I think only outside the top 5 once in the points races, and that was a 6th.
Yeah,
I think in Berlin. You're pretty much there, consistent. It's kind of that model of consistent finishes will get you the points and get you that championship. I mentioned you win the Nibel to kick off the year. Obviously,
that helps.
You want to get that under your belt, and say, okay, we got that win under the way, especially the first race of the year.
Yeah.
And then we go to Little 500.
Yeah.
And if you go back to 2024. Finished up second.
Yeah.
Leading with 2 to go, and your cousin Caleb right behind you.
Yep.
That was intense.
That was.
Last couple laps. So going back to that, obviously Little 5 is coming up as well in May, a big event that we all circle on the calendar. But 2024, oh so close.
Yeah, I didn't think a loss could hurt more than that one, but I was wrong. So I topped it the next year. So, funny thing is I've talked about that race, but not really in detail. But that 24 where Caleb won and we ran second, Our car was so good. There was no one was going to beat us. But the problem was we short fueled on that last stop, and they were telling me about 100 to go I wasn't going to make it. So I was saving fuel that whole time, shutting fuel down. Every time a caution was coming out, I was trying to let it almost die just so I wouldn't be able to, so it'd have enough fuel. And if you go back and watch that race, there was a red flag with 10 to go and 2 yellows. And they were like, we're not going to make it. So we were sweating it out. So someone had gotten into the fuel, so there was, or the water at the top, there was water rushing down forward. There was so much speedy dry on the track. The track conditions were terrible there at the end, and I was so worried about running out of fuel, I was not warming my tires up at all. And we went to go take that last green, and I had zero grip that whole 2 laps there, and he just did a good job. He wasn't worried about fuel, and it's a team car, so I know his stuff's good, and he just got that last little shot right down the backstretch and got me, and I was hanging on for dear life, and ran 499 good laps and just didn't run 500. So, that one stung, but it was still cool because, going forward, I ran that car. It was my first sprint car I ever ran, was the car he was running. And then I ran that this last year, and I was able to win at Salem. So I work on that car just as hard as my own, even though Randy Neal owns it. It's a team car, so it was cool. And he's almost won that thing a few times and given it away. So it was cool for him to finally get one, and then for him to kind of just peace out after the win. So it all worked out. It was pretty cool. So but it wasn't done from there. We're still trying to work on getting back there again.
Yeah. Then we fast forward to 2025, and you think you got the thing won?
Yeah. We crossed the line, got her done, and then we go through tech, and I had this lap timer that I've ran in the years past, and there was kind of a rule change, which it is what it is. I know they have to draw a line in the sand. They can't let things go by, or people just keep pushing it. So I get that. Just a kind of a blunder on my part. Just not really, I don't run it. I knew it was against the rules in the regular races.
Mm-hmm.
But with spotters, we run. It's such a different event. This is outside points. Just didn't really think anything of it. And unfortunately, it just cost my team a win. So, I think our cars aren't going to be any worse. So it's still going to be able to compete and win, but it did hurt. I'm not gonna lie, but I kind of get where everyone's coming from. It hurts a lot less now, So, and that's one thing too, is I race now. We're doing a lot for the love of it,
Right.
So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it stung. And I think one thing that helped too is I really respect Seymour Racing a lot and everyone on that team, and so to see them get the win was still pretty cool. So it all worked out. But yeah, I've done really good at. I think I was before I ran second to Caleb, I had the closest second place finish to Tyler already, and then with Caleb, I think that was the second closest. So I've done really good at losing this thing. So hopefully we can finally remedy this.
This could be the year for sure, my friend. But you did bounce back after that, obviously going after the championship, and you guys were, in contention all year long. Even if you didn't feel like you were in contention, you were right there to win a race.
Sure. Yeah, our cars are good. We even in that last Anderson race, which track we've been good at, honestly, if we weren't going for the championship, I wouldn't even have ran that race. I was so sick that weekend. I was puking my guts out before I got in the car. We qualified terrible, but I was just barely hanging on. And I got in the race, and the car was actually really good. And I couldn't quite get around the 24 there of Jackson, and Cody was in front of him. Couldn't get around him either. But I thought same thing. If I could have got the lead, no one was going to pass me. So I knew our car is still really, really good, Anderson. We're still going to be good. The problem is everyone else is really good there as well. It's the track that everyone's ran the most at. Everyone has the most lap, seat time. Their times are so close. So really to go and win the 500 again, you got to have the car, but it's really everything else, which I think that's where we kind of have an advantage. We've figured out some tricks that have helped us get to the front and hold that lead. But we don't DNF a lot, but all of our DNFs have come with the 500. So it is a hard race to get these cars to finish. So we look forward to it.
You look at your career, and we talk about that ladder system. And you were a Kenyan champ coming out of Kenyan cars. I found I found a picture of me interviewing you from when you were about 13 years old.
Yeah.
After a Kenyan win at Anderson, but for your career, from the Kenyan cars into midgets and sprint cars and Silver Crown cars, and then a stint with what are now O'Reilly cars, the trucks,
yes,
ARCA. You've gotten to drive a lot of different types of race cars.
Yeah.
But we always seem to come back to sprint cars. Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just one of the first things, running open wheel is what I did. Even running go-karts are still an open wheel type of car. Running quarter midgets, kind of that same background. But just something when I got into the midget for the first time, we were just really competitive. I loved how the car felt. And then coming back to the sprint cars, now it's kind of that same deal where, you look at these big tires they have on there and you think, oh, this thing have tons of grip. And they do not. And, you put that 800 horsepower in there, it's really becomes about driver really modulating throttle. It's not, you're not just hammered down wide open. So you have to really be able to control your car. And then really these cars are pretty basic. Like if anyone ever gets to look at these cars, there's not a lot to them. So it's not overly complicated on what you can do for setup wise. So it's like that trying to figure out the basics of racing and just trying to make them go faster as fast as they can. That's why I love them. And and then they're just so fun to race. I mean, they're just so fast for what they are, and they put on a good show, I think.
Obviously, a family team, as we see a lot in racing.
Yep.
Your dad Craig's always there. I mean, you can almost throw, I would call your stepbrother Kevin Biesecker in there.
Yeah,
it's been
no
there for
kidding,
a long time,
right?
Yeah. Talk about that dynamic. I mean, obviously, you and your cousin, your brother has raced. I mean, that family aspect that you guys continue to have even coming into this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that's really kept it going, right? I mean, it's one thing for me to like it and love racing, but it takes other people that want to invest time in it as well. So, I mean, Kevin's been with us. Oh, geez, he's been with us since I was 14. I think I'm going to turn 35, so he's going on 21 years with us here. So it's kind of crazy, and really he's a big backbone and really the reason we are competitive. He's done all the work. He does pretty much everything solo.
Former driver.
Yeah,
as well.
he drove. Yeah, exactly. So it's it takes people like that to be competitive in this. I don't want to call it a niche of a sport, but it's been kind of the same people in this sport for a long time, and it's hard to beat them. It's hard to, like what Rorik's done to come in here, and it take a few years and then be dominant. It's pretty tough to do. These guys that are in this sport really know what they're doing with these cars, and obviously have like Bobby and Cody and all these guys are so good. It just takes a lot of people that want to invest a lot of time and stay in the sport for sure.
So you still enjoy coming to the track?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I think if I didn't, I would be done tomorrow. Especially now I got 4 kids. My wife already kind of wants to kill me. I keep adding races to my schedule.
Yeah. When's your next race?
Like,
When's your next race? Yeah.
I spoiled her because we've been together since high school, but then she saw me race a little bit of this growing up, but then I moved right along to ARCA and into trucks. She's like, man, racing's awesome. When you're getting to go to fly to all these cool places
right.
and run for big money, and it's like when you got to come back to the grassroots of it, it's like, oh man, you really got to like doing this. I'm like, yeah, this is what real racing is. So, especially I leave her alone all the time. She's a rock star for letting me still do this for sure.
And of course, you're from Newcastle, Indiana. The Armstrong Farms on the side from day number one. You guys are busy all year doing that.
Oh yeah. Especially around this time, we're getting ready to go, planting here, and then it's pretty much as soon as we're done planting, we start racing. I mean, it's kind of been like that since I grew up, and somehow I don't know how they did it when we were little and they didn't have any extra help, but somehow we're so busy now. It seems like we're trying to get away is tough, but we still find a way to come to the racetrack.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're going to try and defend that title here at the yourbigplanes.com 500 Sprint Car Tour. Thanks for coming by here on Media Day, and good luck this year.
Yeah, sounds good.
You're defending 500 Sprint Car Tour champ, Dakoda Armstrong.